How to avoid burnout at work. As a high performer or a high achiever, you may be finding yourself in this continual loop that ultimately ends up resulting in burnout. If that's you, then you may be wondering how to avoid it altogether or if that's even possible. Sound familiar? If that's so, then you are in the right place. I'm here to answer that question in today's video, so let's get started. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Shockley, Doctor of Cause, Chiropractic, board certified in sports medicine, and specialized in clinical nutrition. In this video, I'm going to be revealing to you the proven early predictors of burnout. If these are on your list, taking early action is an absolute must for you. Then I'll be sharing with you the most common causes of burnout at work and the results that come thereafter. And finally, I'll be sharing with you one of the best ways to avoid burnout, whether you're in the office or you're working at home. In this new world that we're living in, this is a very real reality that needs to be addressed. Let's dive on in. What are those early, proven predictors that you're headed towards burnout? Let me share with you. One early predictor would have to do with job demands. If the job demands exceed human limits, that is an equation for disaster. Another early predictor would be role conflict. Part of the reason why is this leads to a perceived part of what happens as a result of role conflict is you can feel like you're out of control. That then leads to excess pressure and just being mismatched for the demands that are being placed on you. Another thing that can create or is an early predictor of burnout would be insufficient rewards. Have you ever been in a place where, you're just, whether you're working for someone or maybe you're your own boss, if you're not ever recognizing the positives that are happening, sometimes it's like you're in this constant beat down cycle and it becomes wearing on a person. Lack of support is another one, whether that is from your manager, your team, even at home, wherever you get support. If there is a lack, that is also another way that we can head down that path towards burnout. Another one would be relationship between you and the environment you're working in. Now, this can ultimately lead to feeling imbalanced or like it's a bad fit. Again, staying in a place that is sucking the energy from you versus building you up can definitely be an early predictor for that burnout to come as well. Now, as I said, if any of these are on your list, then we want to start implementing early interventions to avoid burnout altogether. Now, I'm super curious, of those early predictors, how many do you have in your current world? Just type your number down below. Let me know in the comments. I'm super curious to see kind of what your interpretation is of this in your life. Now, what are the most common causes of burnout that results from our profession, our workplace, our regular 9 to 5 or being an entrepreneur? It's the same for all of us. So let me just share kind of what those are. The first one I've kind of already alluded to. It's the lack of control. Not that we are all control freaks, but having some sense of control over our environment or our circumstance or the day-to-day nuances within what our responsibilities are actually creates more confidence, more certainty, which are things that we're striving for, maybe unknowingly. So lack of control is something that definitely can derail us and lead us towards burnout. Having unclear job expectations can be a source or a cause of burnout. Having things defined, again, creates certainty. And we are creatures, again, that we're drawn to certainty and having it laid out, understanding what the expectations are so we know how to meet those responsibilities and those demands that are being placed on us, whether we're placing them on ourselves or we're working within a team, whatever that environment looks like for you. This would probably not be a surprise to you, but dysfunctional work dynamics. I think a lot of the people I talk to who work in larger groups or even some of the corporate environments that consider themselves still high performers, they have that one person that just really sucks the life out of them or always creates conflict or just however situations are being handled is not in an appropriate manner. That absolutely starts wearing on the nerves and can contribute to long-term results of burnout. Another thing that you may have not been aware of is just extreme of activity. If you feel like what you're doing is monotonous or if it's really chaotic, we have to have continual high levels of energy in order to be able to navigate that and to continue to do what our responsibilities are. Ultimately, that becomes very fatiguing on someone and can put you right into that path of finally just dealing with burnout. Another one that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially in today's world, is work-life balance. And when we're out of balance, we're out of alignment, we're doing things that maybe don't align with what our passion is, who we are, or because of the world that we're in and the economy being the way that it is, just feeling like we're having to work all of the time and we're missing out on our family life and the social connections and the fun that when all your eggs get put into the basket of work or, trying to support your family, doing what it is required of you to meet all of those responsibilities you have on yourself, we get out of balance. And when we're out of balance, we start spiraling downward towards burnout. So trying to figure out how do we create more work-life balance is absolutely critical for avoiding burnout altogether. Now, in the world we are today, there's so many of us that are working at home still, or maybe there's this hybrid model that you're in the office a couple of days a week, but you're at home majority of the time. So before I get into the strategies of how you avoid burnout when you're working in a at-home office, I just want to take a moment to remind you to click that subscribe button down below, turn the notifications on, give me a big thumbs up while you're down there, hit that like button. I am regularly producing videos to help you be able to take back control of your health, achieve what I like to call total body mastery, and I don't want you to miss out. So just click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and give me a big thumbs up. All right, should we get into the best strategies for avoiding burnout when you're in your home environment? Let's dive on in. One of the challenges when you bring work home, and that is now your new environment for majority of what you're doing for work, we have to be able to establish boundaries. Because when work is in the home, it makes it so much easier to never step away from it completely. And then that throws you completely out of that work-life balance just because of the fact that work is always accessible. So we have to create boundaries. And I have some suggestions for how to make that actually work for you at home. One of the things you can do is make sure you put on actual work clothes. Okay, maybe you're doing the whole work mullet thing and the top half of you is presentable, the bottom half of you maybe not so much, at least halfway done, but completely, it's going to change your attitude and how you navigate through the day. And you're in work mode, right? It's one of the things we miss when we don't have to actually physically go into work. We're not dressing the way that we normally would. And when we do that, it's kind of that cue to the body hey, this is time for work. Which then also when we get home, what's one of the first things we do? We take the work clothes off and we put on our lounge attire or something more casual, comfy. That also is another way to signal back to the body yep, work is done. We're not touching work for the rest of the day. Okay. So that is a really easy way to kind of cue subconsciously to the body the difference between work and home life when you're actually there. Another thing which might sound really kind of hilarious, but when your work has now come home, you don't have a commute anymore. So again, it's you're not going through part of the normal nuance or routine to get yourself to work. So another thing that you can do is get dressed for work and then just simply take a walk around your block, or maybe pace up and down your sidewalk to the mailbox a few different times, especially with weather changing, but do something that creates more of that feeling of separation between work and home environment. Big one is maintaining normal time or temporal type boundaries, right? So get up, get dressed for work. If normally you take the kids to school and then you go into work, we'll take the kids to school, come back, get to work, set a time where you're going to have lunch every single day. And then that way, that is just when your regular break is, and honor that. And then set an end time. That way work is not able to just continue on into the wee hours of the night, which I'm sure not only will you benefit from, but your family will also absolutely benefit from. One of the other things that can be difficult for many if you're doing more virtual, working from home compared to being in the office all the time is we can feel really separated from our community, our, management team, our other people that work within the same space as us. So sometimes there can be that sense of just being lonely, which some of my patients are really digging having some time by themselves, and they realize that the work environment was actually what they didn't like, but they love their job. And so this change in being able to work from home has been really rewarding for them. But on the other hand, there are some of my people who they miss the social interaction. They miss the connection with people. So we need to create a way to still have connection with people in your day-to-day life. Now, I know there's a majority of kind of like a hybrid approach that's happening right now, but maybe you are completely at home. It would be helpful to schedule some sort of face-to-face once a month with the rest of the team, if that's doable for you, or at least make sure you're being able to be social with your family, your friends. Taking time to connect with people outside of work is going to be really beneficial. Now, this doesn't have to do with boundaries, but it's critically important for helping you avoid burnout. And one of the keys here is, how are you feeling your body every single day? And what are you actually doing? Are you a nervous eater that you're not even conscious of the fact that you're sitting there snacking on, the leftover Halloween candy or, chips because they happen to be in the pantry? We need to be mindful of our fuel. Okay, so some of the best ways to fuel in order to avoid burnout is make sure you're eating whole foods. The way that they grow in nature. They haven't been, adulterated. They haven't been processed and packaged and, all the things that are in the aisles of the grocery store. Those are going to start challenging your body's overall health and well-being, your brain's health and well-being, and can also contribute to leading you towards that path of burnout. Now, if you're super curious about what is the best way to eat to avoid burnout, I would say it has to do with eating for brain health. And if you're still sitting there going Kelly, what in the world is that? Don't even worry about it. Go down to the description below this video, click on it so it expands, scroll down, find where it says free Eat Your Way to Better Brain Health meal plan, and click the link. Tell me where to send that meal plan and it will be yours. It is a week's worth of amazing recipes that are kid approved, mom approved, or kid tested, mom approved. I've included a grocery list for you to just make things easy so you can pop it in an Instacart, or you can, have the list to just stop on your way home or to get you out of the house, right? Whatever the case may be. And then there is a meal plan in there if you need some guidance of what does that look like. And this meal plan is designed for my high performers and high achievers and people just who don't have time to be in the kitchen every single day cooking. I sure as heck don't have time to do that. So I'm sure you probably don't either. Or maybe you just don't even want to. This is designed to be easy, it's time efficient, and it is going to help you fuel the best way you possibly can be to avoid burnout. I love it. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I can't wait to see you on a future episode. God bless.